Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to another session of the CBA Academic Conference. This time entitled Routines for Online Classroom Success by Victor Aguilar from Partners of the Americas. Mhm. Mr. Aguilar is in his 15th year with the Highlands International School, serving 5 of those years as the coordinator of Go English, which is an after-school program teaching English to students in the local Maya Silla community. Today, over 350 students from the community have been impacted. He also initiated programs to help enhance and strengthen the relationships between communities, parents, students, children, and government authorities to provide more opportunities for growth and success in future endeavors. Also, his dedication to service of those in need demonstrates his personal drive to make a difference in his community and country. He was privileged to discover the richness of cultural history and diversity during 13 years of participating in and leading national and international mission trips. He holds a bachelor's degree in Education of Sciences, graduated from Universidad Salesiana de Bolivia, and his coursework in Educational Studies in International Ministry and Cross-Cultural Training from Cairn University, a Christian university in Langhorne Manor, Pennsylvania. He's studying his master's degree in Sciences of Religion with mention in development of the community and leadership in the Nazarene Seminary of the Americas, Costa Rica. Welcome, Victor. It's a real pleasure to have you here with us today. I will leave you now with your audience, okay?
Thank you, Daniela, and thank you, everyone. I'm pretty glad, pretty good to be here. I'm glad to be here, actually. Yeah, it's pretty good. But I would like to start this time and this session with some reflections. You know, I am a teacher for 15 years, and then just let me say this. I think the word that describes 2020 is flexibility. We never expect anything like a pandemic, and no one modeled this word better than teachers who showed flexibility on daily basis. From one day to the next, the teachers had to set up a whole system of compulsory distance education or online teaching to continue their life mission from home with dedication. But I have some questions. What materials and tools do teachers count on for distance education? With your personal computer, with your own internet, with your electricity, and you pay for it from your own pocket. What spaces do teachers use for distance learning? The living room of your house, which is made public to strangers, the privacy of our houses. Our copyright, it was given away. Research, images, text, tasks. And how about the requirements for online teaching? There are many. Everyone's complains at all times without sensitivity to sudden effort. A school in the living room never ends. 1 million emails to attend, WhatsApp groups, calls, personalized attention, approaching the tutorial function, meetings at any time, messages of all kinds, managers, students, families, society, non-paid overtime, etc., etc., etc. And then how much are we working as teachers? Actually, the teachers are working even longer hours than before. Thousands of doubts need to be cleared up in regards to homework. Thousands of random incorrectly spelled or incorrectly used words need to be corrected. Teachers are going beyond the content and finding ways to build relationships, offer psychological guidelines, and promote understanding so students can see the significance of various experiences. But when do I love teaching actually? When I am prepared, for sure. when every single kid is paying attention, when my class is organized instead of a mess. Especially working with little ones, we face many, many difficulties. However, in this new e-learning environment, if I don't like teaching online during quarantine, I feel like discouraged most of the time. My name is Victor, and I love teaching. I really love teaching. And today we are going to discuss how to organize your online classroom so you can enjoy teaching English. And I bet you guys have goals. So the things that we are going to talk about today are the next. We will be talking about what exactly happens during the first day of class, how setting up the first day in an online classroom is a little different from a traditional classroom. Finally, I'm going to use some examples of setting up routines for a successful online classroom. So I think, do you have a personal goal for this semester? Of course, your personal goal is to achieve the best semester ever. However, your to-do list is pretty full and you don't really know um, where to begin. So I want to help you guys. So you show and I want to show you some opportunities to succeed and give you some advice for a great semester. And maybe your to-do list looks something like this, like to establish routines and expectations, check. Organize your lesson plans, check. Prepare your material and guidelines, check. Incorporate technology to improve your teaching. You guys have a really, really big challenge for this new bimester. So, but the reality is that we are pretty close to start a new semester or a new bimester, according to the the schedule that the CBA has. In 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 actuality, you have 3 days. So I'm pretty sure that at this point, many of you are getting increasingly overwhelmed by the tsunami of information that you guys are receiving right now. The internet has made information tremendously more accessible, and we have received so many resources so many resources this week. However, browsing can feel like being hit by a tsunami of information, right? And for sure, you want some help improving your online class when you Google it, for example, and you type in it online classroom management strategies, you may get close to 200 million of possibilities. So it's too much. And I want to be empathetic with you and I want you to succeed this semester. Also, I want to encourage you to count your opportunities, and you have many. I would like to share this video, and you are going to notice some similarities with our context. And three apples in another, I would have five. So hands with warm water and soap. Again, and with swim. So we have to be very important, very good. Okay, so you are coloring. Let's do it together. 9 plus 9.
Excellent. The leaves are falling off the tree. And what's the last one? Very good. Could you simply tell me what letter is 19? Very good. Yes. What letter is it? Okay. 2 equals 6. Am I finished on the unit side? Daisy? No.
Listen.
Now I must come over to the 10 side.
Finish. Okay.
What will I place in front of the 3? I'm going to put it here.
Listen.
So let's pause it here. You know, the kiddos at home are at home right now, and they are going to break some rules. But if we were in our classrooms, we would never overlook these behaviors. We would have stopped them immediately with no hesitation. Behaviors like eating in front of the computer, being bored, not paying attention, being distracted with some electronics, pencils, their fingers, anything at hand. Oh, it's too much, guys. So adding to it, we don't have enough space or time, and personally, I feel overwhelmed by technology. But also, we as teachers are challenged because we are raising the next generations of leaders. I would like to share with you guys one quote from George Bernard Shaw. It says, "Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything." Until this point, we have already talked about our context, um, our challenges, our failures. So it's been going it's going to be a great year from here, from a great semester. So I would like to share with you guys some strategies. But the first thing that we want to do is organize our classrooms, our online classrooms in this case. So I want to help you with the first item um, in the first challenge that you have is how to organize your classroom for an online environment. So here we have 3 tips for organizing your own classroom environment. First, practice routines. 2, model desired behaviors. And 3, let them lead. They might sound kind of obvious, but they're easy to overlook. Again, practice routines, model desired behaviors, and then let them lead. So let's talk about the first day of class. I think setting up my class the very first day gives me more control. I think it is very important for the students to understand that even though they are at home and a little space far away, this is our online classroom and I am the teacher. I'm still responsible in the main, and I am the main person here. And because I want to establish this learning environment, I will show authority. You want to let the students understand what your rules are, what are your expectations. Um, but I think one of the biggest things is building relationships. I believe that some of these students want to make connections. And to establish connections, I can do things like making them laugh or telling them story. Yeah, some of these kids don't really care about how much English I know. They actually care about how much I care. So let's get started. First of all, what is a classroom routine? Routines are the backbone of your daily classroom life, online or traditional environment. If you want to feel accomplished as a teacher, you need to establish a routine. Routines don't just make your life easier, they save valuable classroom time. And what's most important, efficient routines make it easier for students to learn and achieve more. Routines help with time management in the classroom. They also help children to know what is expected of them and how to perform independent tasks. So in a traditional classroom, we need to establish routines for how to move safely in the classroom, proper voice levels from different activities, quiet signals, active listening, sharpening a pencil, raising hands, organizing backpacks to go home, reading the morning message and other morning routines, entering the classroom if you are late, entering another classroom, holding the door as you walk down the hall, friendly greeting to classmates and visitors, etc., etc., etc. But how about online classroom routines? Routines for an online workflow are a little bit different, mainly because of two reasons. And I'm going to go over them really quickly with you. So the main reason that I think classroom routines are different online are because one, space. If you are in a physical classroom, the teacher would be standing up, moving all around, all over the place, and students would be doing the same thing if they are able, of course. But online, we only have the screen. We are basically a head, shoulders, arms. That's about it. Likewise, the students probably have a pretty small screen, and we want to be able to see the student's mouth too. So we don't even want the students to be too far away from the screen. We we kind of need to adapt some strategies related to total physical response, which is TPR. So that it fits on our screen a little more. Indeed, we have limited space when we are teaching online. So space is the first problem. Second problem is time. When we are teaching online, we have limited time. If you were teaching ESL in a traditional classroom, you probably would see that student every single day, and it's easy to build on that knowledge. Um, you you can kind of toss it around, and you don't really expect the student to be speaking right away. But we have pretty limited time in our students online. So teachers, your lessons are just 1 hour and 30 minutes long. If we want the student to be grasping new content, we need to make sure that it is not just listening, but it is also speaking in that short period of time, right? But not just listening, not just doing the physical activity, but it's also speaking. That's so important, especially online, and it keeps them engaged even more than just doing the physical activity. So, what is modeling? We often refer to it as I do, we do, and then you do. Modeling is more than just saying what to do. In modeling, I will show you what to do, and then you will repeat my actions, following along doing the same actions and saying the same words. There's a difference in my beginner level and then my intermediate and advanced levels. With my younger students, I model everything. Now, if you have ever watched a kid's YouTube channel, then you will have noticed how enthusiastic and energetic the hosts are. Um, and there's a reason for this. If you think about your students sitting at a computer watching you on screen, unless there's something visually appealing for them, then it's easy to lose their attention. So all of our movements need to be exaggerated, and our energy and enthusiasm needs to be 150%. Now, if you are someone who is shy on camera, then don't forget to practice before your class. Take your phone and record yourself a couple of times to see what you are doing well and what you can do better. The more you practice, the more comfortable you are going to become. So, I bet you are ready for some examples. Our first scenario is the little ones. I don't know if you guys have trouble with, I mean, not trouble, but difficulties with them. I do. So I need to work on these strategies. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. Remember. So there are three different types of examples that I'm going to show to you, and one you've probably seen. If you have looked up any other videos, you have probably seen this before. The mouth point and the ear cup. This is part of TPR, total physical response. The way this strategy works is if I want you to repeat, I'm going to point to my mouth. Then when I want you to actually say it back, I cut my ear. So for example, if I am talking with my student and then all of a sudden I point to my mouth and get closer to the screen, the student will notice that I am pointing to my mouth. But you don't really need to be doing this all the time. You don't need to do this when you are saying, for example, how are you? And the kid might say back, how are you? Because your student might because you don't need it. This is just to help them pay attention. You can even get closer to the camera, and I suggest you get up close and then stay up close. You really want to make eye contact with the camera as well, because this is a lot less powerful. If I cut my ear and I don't have eye contact with the camera, right? The student wouldn't feel like I'm actually paying attention. You need to be looking at the camera when you are listening for a response. For example, when I am doing this, the ear cup, and I am not looking the camera, so it's kind of difficult. So I will call this the mouth point and the ear cup strategy. The next scenario or the next example I want to share is the attention getter to encourage your kiddos. I will say that my students are very attentive and they are very in tune during class time. A couple of times you will encounter a student who is not interested. Maybe it's that 12-year-old who thinks they are too old for the program, or they are not interested in what you have to say, or they don't want to respond. Or sometimes it might be the student who just turned off the camera and he or she might not fully understand what you're saying. So for these few students that I have had some classroom management issues with, I found that you need to kind of redirect them. You know, so the challenge when you are teaching online is that you are not physically there to wrangle them from the other side of the room to make them pay attention. It's important, or you have to make them pay attention. So what you have to do is think how I am going to make them pay attention without physically being there. And here's a couple of strategies. I do use attention getters for my class. If I feel like when they are working, they are just a little bit too noisy, the noise levels are a little too high, so I will use it to get their attention. I also use it to get their attention if I forgot to mention something to them about an assignment that they are working on, or but I also like to use attention getters to add a positive spin to things. But going to the nerve of this session, like, is what happened with online education? What happened with using these strategies in an online environment? So setting class expectations is really important. Before they can learn academics, they need time to learn to trust. They feel like somebody cares, and to begin to learn that they are important. That is really, really, really good, really important. I mean, we believe that children learn much more when they are active in the process of establishing routines and expectations than when they are simply conformed with teacher-created rules. When you teach routines early in the school year, you save many hours of repeating explanations about what you want students to do through the rest of the year, leaving you more time for instruction. If you want to add um, to your box of tools, technology and platforms and apps and every single tool that you guys are receiving right now, yeah, you need. I encourage you that you may establish your routines and your environment. So everything is going to flow during the year. That is really important. So once I've decided which routines I want to put in place, I can guide the students to role play various routines, which is an effective way to teach them. Before online school starts, plan the language you will use to justify routines with children. For teaching expectations, we are going to use modeling. What is modeling and what are expectations? Why expectations? How to let the students lead and be more resourceful. Expectations communicate the desired behavior using a positive framework and encouraging responsibility. Put, uh, simply put, it is a positive framework that sets the tone for the online classroom. And other hand rules are simply a list of things we should not do. My rules used to be something like this, be ready to learn, don't eat or drink near your computer, create a quiet workspace, keep other um, devices off during class time, be respectful of others during live lessons, checking daily and turning assignment on time. Okay, maybe I'm focusing on the students who are not well behaved. But what happened with the ones that really want to learn and are interested in your content? The ones who enjoy your activities and really love you. So we need to create a safe environment. I would like to give them some easy tasks at the beginning and then some more complex ones. I think if they learn their routines and the teacher is consistent with the expectations, the students will be able to join the class as well as the teacher. To enjoy the class, I mean, to enjoy the class as well as the teacher. Because we are creating an environment to let them succeed as leaders in service. But now, on the other hand, I'm not using rules. Now I'm using expectations, which is better for them to grow, better to grow and foster leaders. We respect each other, is the first one. We try our best. We are a team. We learn from mistakes. We celebrate each other. We create and inspire our friends. For example, let's go to class. This is a image of class dojo in my school from one kindergarten. So this is something that I send at the end of the semester, you know, and it says, "All my friends, I'm so proud of you, and all of your hard work here is a special shout out to these friends who turned in all their assignments on time each day last week. Valentina, Olivia, me, Leandro, Jesse, Franco, Amy, Bianca, Anya, Annabelle, and Aleph. So we are just trying to encourage them, trying to make them feel important. That is really 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 important. Um, okay.
Okay, well, sorry, Victor. Before we move on, there's a question from Lourdes. Okay, she would like to know what can we do when our adult students don't want to turn on their camera? Is there a way to persuade them? Mhm.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
know,
know.
that's a really good, really, really, really good question because that is something that we are facing every single day. Yeah. So I think at the beginning we should set up our not just rules but our expectations. So what we want from them, you know, and also I have some really good suggestion that we need to have a teamwork. So parents, students, and teachers, we are a community. So the suggestion that I have for Lourdes is like she may send home by Google Classroom the rules for the rules and expectations and the routines for the students at home, because the kids are like close to the bed, and they just jump out of the bed and they sit down in front of the computer, and then they don't have they cannot make that difference in between house and then school, or house and work, so that is really important, especially with the little ones. So we as a teacher, we should send to the parents some routines, like early routine for them. What time are they going to get up? So how to dress up, like lunchtime, um, breakfast, dinner, yeah, fun time. So they need that time for sure for them too. So there are
Okay, thank you for your answer, Victor.
routines. I hope that question was answered.
Sure, it was. Okay, so we can continue now with the presentation.
Okay. So one more thing that I want to say, let me show some pictures and share my presentation. Just a second, please. So I want to share a video with you guys. Um, this is a really good one. Uh, so here we go. That was just a short video, and then but the thing is, like, how we can encourage the kids at home, you know. And I will say, oh my gosh, Marcelito, I'm so proud of you right now. You are working so hard. You are doing such an incredible job working. And I will say, oh my gosh, Marcelo, I'm so proud of you. And I really liked uh, to pump them up and make them feel good and proud of himself. And then um, this is a picture of um, my kids working in a project all together. Yeah, and then also I'm using attention getters, and I'm using my expectations to encourage them. And I will say, let's say, holy cow, I noticed how Marce and Josh were working so well together as a group on this project. Everyone's talking and everyone's giving their opinion, and they are being kind and respectful. And when one friend is talking, the rest of them are giving them eye contact and listening. I'm just so amazed by this. So, guys, they love it. Oh my gosh, they really love this feedback that we can give them. So I use attention getters for redirecting class behavior. Never use attention getters to be negative on a student. I praise the whole class, or I praise a group, or I praise a couple of kids, or I praise one student. I usually try to use them in a positive way. So be passionate about it, be real, be legit. The kiddos need someone that shows them that we really care. So I think that's it. The only thing that I have is just encourage you guys that keep on working on your routines and then your procedures for the next year, because that is going to make your life easier. That is going to make enjoy teaching.
Okay, Victor, thank you so much for the tips. You are totally right when you say we have to make the difference between home and the classroom, right? Because even if we are at home, we are having classes. That's our classroom. We have to set the rules from the very beginning. I find that very interesting. Many people from the audience also say thank you very much for the tips. They found them interesting. And I don't know if you would like to add anything else to what you've already said.
Yeah, thank you again. This is pretty good. Thank you for sharing these experiences and teaching strategies. So see you then.
Okay, thank you, Victor. We hope to see you in another opportunity. The CBA would like to award you with this certificate, okay, because we are really proud to have had you. Okay, congratulations, Victor. Really nice presentation, and we hope to have you presenting other topics in the future. Okay, thank you very much.
Bye. See you.
Goodbye. Have a nice afternoon.